Hi everyone, I'm Charna Davis-Wiese and welcome to Profiles. Was that the music of a seasoned professional who's been in the business for ages? Well, yes, to the professional part, but our musician has many more years ahead of him than you might think. This is Benjamin Warren, recent UCF graduate, musician extraordinaire. And you just told me something that after studying music for many, many years myself, that it's like, oh my, you don't know how to read music. It just comes from your soul.
I can pick out notes, but no, as far as sight reading, absolutely not.
So then where did this come from? Did you have a piano in the house that you just sat down and you played?
Sure. I grew up playing piano probably from age 8 or 9. I began just picking it up. I remember sitting down at, I think it was around 8 or 9 years old, and just not knowing what notes I was playing, just fast as I could, just moving my hands over the keys, wanting to play, really wanting to play, but not playing anything that sounded good at all.
So you had your aha moment.
Yeah.
At 8 or 9, and then you realized this is what I want to do.
And then I did take lessons. I did take lessons for about 9, 10 months.
Well, somebody with I come from a family of musicians, and when it's in your soul and in your heart, lessons almost doesn't work. Mm-mm. It's not you're way ahead of where they want you to be.
Each year for the recital, I got to the point, invited back for recitals, even though I wasn't a current student, because people liked the music. But for the recital, I would play something I had written that year, and I wouldn't have any sheet music up, and I would have my friend play cello to my song that had no sheet music to it, and everyone didn't know how I did it, but that's what I did at 10, 11 years old. So, yeah.
I remember when I was 10, I got my first guitar, and it wasn't until many years later at a PTA meeting there, started the rumblings of dropping the music programs. You know how that's going on in so many places.
Sure.
And I remember my mother getting up, and this is such a vivid memory, and saying she was never bored. She's never bored. She's always got the guitar or whatever. And was that what your experience as well?
Yeah.
That there's never an empty space because you can go and get lost in your instrument.
No, that void, I think, that I would have had in my life without music was that piano. That was my tool. That was my thing to come home, after school too, and just to write. And that's weird, yes, I know. But for me, that was my favorite thing to come home to, was my instrument.
So how do you do it when you come home, and we'll talk about where the music comes from and where the thoughts come from, but you come home and you play something and you like it and you want to keep it. Being that you don't read music, you just remember it?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Sure. As I did the songs I was taught from through lessons from my teacher, I wouldn't be sight reading. I would just be memorizing the piece.
Did she know?
She would know. She would. And that's why after about a year she said, "Listen, I know you're not giving this the time of day, but you're writing things far beyond what you could ever read." She's like, "My work here is done," And she was very graceful about it. And on the new album For the Journey, I wrote a song about her. She's my first piano teacher. So her name was Miss Regina. So
have you given it? Does she have it? Has she heard it?
She had passed last year from cancer, and we gave it to her husband. So it was moving. Yeah.
But she already knew the level you had
knew.
achieved.
She knew I was going to do something with it. So. Yeah.
So we talk about writing. We just touched on it a little bit,
Sure.
and everybody who has ever been a great composer, they say it just. James Taylor, I saw him in an interview, and he said, I don't know where it comes from. It just comes out. It's almost like a spiritual thing.
I believe it's half spiritual, yeah. Well, first, I believe it's a gift that I've been given, and I could go months without writing anything.
Do you worry about it when you do?
I would if I was with a record label and having to get
material
produced within months.
Ben, where is
yes,
it?
or scoring a film is the same thing. Then I sit down one night and just melodies come and just play, massage the keys a little bit and just see where this new spark could go, and it's just exciting. There's no other rush than discovering something new. So.
And I like it, and that you're gonna remember it. Do you actually have to put it on any kind of recording device?
Oh, you bet now. I lay it down
because you've got so much.
Yeah, you bet. I've got probably 4 albums worth of material just backlog that I could pull from.
Now, with all of this music and this love of music, you were not a music major or a music minor at all at UCF.
No. UCF I was not. I did do symphony in junior high, and then going into satellite high school, the marching band. I did play the percussion in marching band. The large bass drum, there's probably name for it, but I don't remember what it's called. But I did begin with music in junior high and high school. And then UCF, I did not want my declared major to be music, so I stuck with the management program.
When you were in high school, I played percussion in band too,
okay.
only because my best friend was the drum major and I didn't play a band instrument. Were you like I did? Did you cheat? I didn't have any music. I played the bells, the glockenspiel.
Oh, yeah, I did too.
And I would make it up.
You bet. Wherever it's needed, ding, ding, here you go. The climax in an epic piece, there you go.
How lucky were we to have band directors that let us do that?
Yeah. I was under the direction of Mike Waller at Delore, and he's one of my good friends, and I hope to someday write a piece where his students can play for a solo and ensemble festival or here in Brevard County, something like that.
So you were lucky. I love on this show to ask people if they ever had somebody that had a defining moment in their life or even a defining word of encouragement, a phrase, but you had more than one.
Yeah, more than one. And still today I do. I have people that I admire, look up to. A good friend Colin O'Malley is currently Yanni's lead orchestrator. Yanni, as in Yanni.
As Yanni.
in the person I looked up to and my music most resembles.
As in doesn't need a second name.
Doesn't need a second name. His name is Yanni. But I look up to Colin and my friend Mike Purcell, an excellent composer in the area, so much. And they give me direction. Ben, stay true to your heart. Stay true to what you do. And if it's going to go, if you stay true to yourself and how you normally write, don't try to write how you may think you need to write. Stay true to that passion, that music that you wrote since you were, in my case, 9 years old.
And that's why it's so good, because it's real.
Yeah, it's from the
not
heart.
Commercial, and
Sure.
it's not you weren't given a title,
No.
and you made something around it.
Right.
So growing up and being interested in Yanni and that kind of new age type of music.
Just getting started.
Was that difficult in your peer group? Because I know,
Sure.
a lot of my friends were into the headbanger type stuff, and to me it was just a bunch of noise.
Right.
And
did you pretend to like it, just to fit in?
No.
No. Okay.
No, I don't think I did. I think I pretended to like some of that Paul McCartnney and Wings stuff. That's how telling how old I am. But no, I don't think I did, because I just disliked it so much.
What you like. And I was brought up with two loving parents that really made us listen to everything, from country to gospel to, my dad's a church pastor, so we listened to a lot of hymnal-based music, and I think that's what inspired my early writing. And I studied a little bit of Scott Joplin and ragtime music and got the chord structures in there. Yeah, very rhythmic, and that just helped me write so much more too. But I grew up listening to everything, and that inspires what I write now.
And that's true. That's where it comes from, because music is really a melding of so many different
It is. It's music.
Forms and genres.
You can't say it's good or bad.
Yeah.
Just different.
But I bet your friends are probably at the point where they could sit down and hear you and say, this is something very special.
They all, as it been, we'd all hang out as a youngster.
You don't play basketball,
13,
please?
14. Yo, I played, I did. I played on the basketball team, JV for Satellite Beach High School, and after games, we'd all come back. If we won, we were in a good mood, So we'd come back to my house. My parents would have pizza, and I would sit down at the piano, and they would always, Ben, play something for us. So it was good. It was good. They knew that I had a gift, and they didn't make fun of me too bad for it. So when I put in the Yanni CD every now and then, they would cut a few jokes, but I love what I love, and
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and that's what makes it so special. Now, you told me that the hardest part is naming.
Yeah, naming
the piece.
Yeah.
And I do think Paul
me.
McCartney is an amazing musician. And I once read that Yesterday, which is probably his most famous song, was Scrambled Eggs for quite a while. That he actually did the music.
I don't see how that could work, but
he had the music, no words,
Yeah.
and Scrambled Eggs is what fit. So you're not the only one.
I'm thinking through the song now with Scrambled Eggs. Yeah.
So you're not the only one.
No, and it's instrumental music, so it's hard to capture what I was feeling at the time, because like I said, I could go months without writing anything, start a song, finish it years later. How do I capture what I was feeling at that inspirational point where the idea came to me? I can't. I usually turn to my mom. She's named just about every track on both albums, so I turn to her for names.
You know what? A lot of people turn to their.
She's able to capture the
members.
Emotion and just nail it right on the head, and I don't know how she does it. I said.
Well, she can also is a little bit more detached than you are.
Exactly.
And can listen to it without as much of an attachment and an emotional.
Yeah.
Can we listen?
Yeah, let's go.
We're going to take a look at this piece. It's what's this one called?
Only
Remind
Once.
Me? Only
Once we did in the studio.
That we did in the studio. Ed Hyland produced it.
Yes.
And let's take a look at it.
All right.
And a listen. It's amazing. Produced by our own Ed Hyland. Great job.
Ed is great, yep.
Benjamin Warren, Only Once. Now, what's mind-boggling to me is, because it shows you how many years ago I was in an orchestra, everything came out of the keyboard.
But what I purchased as a producer, composer, would be software packages that have been digitally mastered. Basically, they would go into a rehearsal hall, digitally record every instrument of that orchestra with the best mics produced in the world.
Every note.
And then I pay thousands of dollars for the software and the rights to use that sound. It's not pre-recorded, it's just the sound of the instrument.
You had to get money to buy this. This is expensive, as you say, expensive equipment.
Yeah.
Producing the music is expensive. So
Sure.
you went to the entrepreneurial school at UCF.
Sure.
And you were a businessman.
Yep.
Tell us about your business.
Through high school, I needed money to fund myself, and parents said, you know, we'll give you the allotted $20, $30 a week. And I said, no, I want more than that. I do want a car before I'm a senior. So I started a lawn and landscape company back in 1997 here in Brevard County, and have been doing that up through college, and it's paid for school. I have been fortunate enough not to have gone in debt except for the purchases for the business, and through that company have funded Benjamin Warren Productions, the production company that produces the albums each year. So using one company to launch another is how I've done it, and then picking a management and entrepreneurship track at UCF for the degree. And music, I would have loved to take the composition course, but you had to declare it as a minor, and I didn't want to go another 4 years of school. So
right,
I was ready to get done.
I think you got the composition down. I don't think that's going to be a problem. And you know what? The management and the business expertise, once you really are full scale into the music business, will really help you.
It will.
No one's going to take advantage of you.
The beauty of UCF is that their professors allow you to come back into the campus and just drill them on questions. They love to help. Good friend Kathy Holland, Nicole Howitt, some of the best professors I've ever had, have just opened their doors and their business knowledge to me and said, hey, ask away. That's what we're here for, even after I've graduated. So it's just a great opportunity. Yeah.
Marketing is probably going to be the hardest part.
Marketing's big, and I think the whole industry is changing in that manner. Independent artists becoming much more powerful through the internet, using the tools such as internet radio for live streaming and iTunes. Benjamin Warren product is available through iTunes, Amazon.com, Best Buy Independent.
Listen to this, folks. iTunes, Amazon.com.
Best Buy Independent. Best Buy partnered with my distributor, CD Baby, about 3 months back, which was huge, opening up thousands of sales now. You browse Best Buy's website, and they have an independent link. You can go there, type in Benjamin Warren, and all my product comes up. So,
if I was the music fairy and came down and said anything you want, what's your greatest wish and your greatest dream?
Oh, that's a good one. But
touring with the orchestra.
that would be it, to do a live performance the correct way and have the funding for a live performance. I think back, and I think it was 92, 93, Yanni did live at the Acropolis. And that was well funded, and you can't beat that performance, but something of that scale, I think that would just complete me as a person.
I don't think it's out of your realm. How about soundtracks? You're interested in doing that as well.
Sure.
Now, what did they do? Is the movie finished, or is the video finished and then the soundtrack?
From what I
comes
understand, you're given cues. You're given a certain theme to write to, where it may be just a transitional theme where the characters are moving from one plot to the other, or the plot is changing itself. It's a transitional theme you have to score to. They'll give you a snippet of what they want as far as the actual video. And this is done pre-production. It's before the actual product is, in my term, mastered, but that's not the right term for video editing. I would be given a cue and then writing to that cue. So trying to capture the element, the emotion in that picture through my music, and that's tough.
Have you ever seen, it was many years ago, and they do it every once in a while, when they're giving out the Academy Award for the soundtracks, they'll show incredibly popular movies without the music.
Sure, sure. The composers don't sell it.
Lord.
The actors do.
Yeah, and it's just really boring without the music.
It
and
is.
then they put the music in, and it's like
now I recognize it.
Yeah, I'm really into it now, and it's
can't have one without the other.
And it's what you really believe, that music is a visceral, gut wrenching feeling type thing that touches everybody.
Right, it's a universal language. It is. It defies. My music defies categorizing. I don't want to categorize my music in a particular genre. Yanni, I think he named it best. It's adult contemporary instrumental. that's his take on
Have you
what
ever
he
met
does.
him?
No.
Being that you know somebody
No, but
who
I hope
works
to
with him?
someday. Let's have 2 wishes. That would be my second. So,
The second
yeah.
one, to work with him maybe.
Oh, goodness.
Do the concert together.
What an opportunity.
To do the concert together. Any other type of music that you're interested in that's a little bit different, or that you think you might do one day?
You mentioned James Taylor in our earlier conversation. I love him. I love all acoustic folk. I do. Jim Brickman. I love Jim Brickman too. Jim Croce is one of my favorite folk writers. Yeah.
What a terrible, tragic loss. And I love to do that with my kids. I'll play them.
I love his stuff.
Music from the day.
What meaning they had then, dumped their heart into their song, and that song actually had a relatively good meaning. You could understand it and apply it to your life. What a concept.
But they were storytellers.
They were.
With it.
They were.
And that's what you do with your instrument.
In a way, you're right. In a way, the instruments tell the story. And the neat thing about instrumental music is that the listening audience can, whatever they're using the music for, because usually we do use music for one purpose, whether we realize it or not, they can associate whatever they need to that theme and get whatever they need to out of it. So
and get whatever feeling they want.
Yeah, and picking the title for the piece is it's a hardship for me, because I don't want to have them think it's going somewhere that they might not want it to go.
And it could be different on any given day.
It's different for me even playing it over again.
Let's talk about your album For the Journey.
Right,
Love the
let's do
title. Did that come easily?
For the Journey, that was one of mine. That was not my mother's. That was mine. For the Journey, I'm holding true to that one. I think it captures the whole texture of the album, really. It's a driving CD, it's upbeat, it's rhythmic, it's epic in its proportion, but yet you have piano solos on there as well to calm you back down. So it's a driving CD. I picture the listener popping in their player and driving down the road and just getting lost in each track.
Is that what you do when you're composing? Do you get lost in it?
Oh,
do you
I
get
do.
it, as athletes are, do you get in the zone?
Yes, I am in the zone very much so. And it's hard to really have all the distractions off. The phone will ring or the fax will come in, or just giving myself 3 hours a day right now, because I'm marketing too, to sit down and compose. It's tough to really get that intimate with the song again, but that's when the inspiration happens. So.
You spend time of the day marketing, because students do watch this.
Yes.
And I'm sure there's other people that think, oh gosh,
I'm wearing a lot of hats right now.
And that's what it really takes.
As an independent artist, yes,
right.
Without a label, of course. We're looking for a publishing company for the next album, looking for a publishing company to take it then and pitch it to stations, and they have the clout to do so and the leverage to do so.
How do you do that? Knock on doors?
I have a great attorney working with me who has contacts. This whole world is made of contacts.
Networking, everything.
This business, more so than any other, is definitely who you know. It's all who you know.
Everything is changing so much in Central Florida.
Yeah.
Is this a place where you can do that? A lot of
It
people
is.
say, well, in the old days, you'd have to go to LA or go to Detroit or go to Motown. But
to a certain extent, those are the hot spots for labels and for publishing companies where they locate themselves. But for production, especially video production, and UCF does so much with independent film, and Florida Film Festival is huge now. Mm-hmm. Just such a nice little network of people that I can associate with, and tech support is here. I buy all the products here, which is great, because when you're just getting started on these software programs, you need tech support.
That's one thing I think people don't understand, that it's very, very expensive to do this. It's very expensive
Sure.
to buy the instrument to produce, and the fact that you can do so much of it yourself and you don't have to pay other people to do that probably saves you a nice chunk of change.
Yes, yeah, and that's where the lawn business has come into helping. Drive back here 2 times a week, and yeah.
So what's your day look like? You were so funny when you had sent me an email and you said, I can be reached at my office at Starbucks.
My office is a Starbucks, yes. Because if I'm in the studio, I'm more than likely going to sit down and try to start writing something.
You
Not
have
that
to
that's
remove
important.
yourself. Well, that's,
I do.
That's
I have to get away.
so much your passion. That's great. You have to remove yourself from the keyboard.
Yes. I have to get away, and with the wireless connectivity at Starbucks, it's great. I've got my laptop, my cell, and
that's a place to play your music while you're there.
Hear Music out of Seattle is my next contact, and they're actually reviewing the album right now for a store placement. They've got like a 4-month waiting list though.
Oh.
But huge company.
You're
But
young.
it's just different enough. My music is just different enough from the average instrumental album, the moods type album, to create a mood. I think it might go through. So
I think it's because I have all that. I have so much music, and yours has more of a melody, and there's more of a structure to it. It's not just background noise,
Right.
that a lot of people would use, like the meditation music.
Right.
Or
And that has its place too. I'm not knocking that at all.
It does, but yours is different in,
Right.
to me as a listener.
Good.
A music
Well, I'm glad
lover.
it's hit you like that.
It feels like it's different. It's more. It's not something that I would have in the background while I'm meditating. It's
Sure.
something that I would want to actually listen to.
As many people as I hear say that, I also hear say, I love to fall asleep to it. And at
Either
first,
way, yeah.
at first I said,
Turn the volume down.
oh, what do you mean? You know, I was discouraged. But music, again, has a purpose. And I have to appreciate that people are listening to it, period. Whether they're listening to it to fall asleep, that doesn't, discourage me. That's good.
It's relaxing.
They're getting what they need out of that music. And that's why I do it.
So what's next? What's your next step?
Marketing the albums and getting store placement, hopefully, with Borders, Barnes & Noble, Starbucks, Cracker Barrel Music, Hallmark. These are the type stores that I would like to be in, and just beginning the long process of product promotion, getting it out there.
I think you're going to do it. I really do. Just don't get discouraged.
No, it's baby steps, and until it takes off, it's baby steps, but each day you learn something new, and you grow on that. So
I've interviewed so many people over the years, and in film or authors or musicians who have become very successful. So many of them, in not so many words, have said, yes, it's a little bit, I'm plugging away, and all of a sudden, whoa!
And then it's there. That's exactly how
And
I feel this will be.
it's almost overwhelming. Benjamin
Sure.
Warren, benjaminwarren.com. You can find all the links there.
Sure.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks
Will
for
you
having
remember
me.
us little people when you're
of
big and
course.
famous?
I am a little person till I die. Yes. Yeah, of course. Thanks for having
Thank you so
me.
much. I'll be at the concert when you're playing with Yanni.
Front row. Front row.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Charna Davis-Wiese. We'll see you again next time on UCF Profiles.